Wow, what's up with it, baby? It's your boy Oksceez, man, and I'm back like spinal cords and car seats, man. Magic Johnson versus Larry Bird, the greatest individual sports rivalry ever. And you already know who I'm rocking with, Larry the Legend, all day, every day, twice on Sundays. We ain't talking about, man. Like, comment, subscribe, man. I appreciate all the support y'all been giving me on the video. Let's turn up one time for the one time, man. Who y'all got? Comment below, man. Hey, you can't be on the 1A, 1B, or I like both of them, or I ain't trying to hear that shit. Pick a side. Larry Bird or Magic Johnson. You hear me? Lord. Bing, 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 bing. Get out of here, boy. Get out of here, boy. It's like a abuse.
In this versus series, we take a look at two greats of basketball history as we analyze their skills, achievements, and career totals, ending with a conclusion on who is the greater basketball player.
Damn, Magic. Chill out, brother. Dime off the butt cheeks. I throw dimes off the butt cheeks.
Skills, achievements, and career totals, ending with a conclusion on who is the greater basketball player overall. Today, our matchup is the man known for his magic on the court, Earvin Johnson, versus Larry Legend, Larry Bird. Both legends spent
the HICK from French Lick. Put some respect on Larry's name, man. Larry the Legend.
Entirety of their career with one of the most
funny thing about these two is they both was unathletic as hell running the whole league. Fucking all the athletic people love. Oh, y'all could jump in the free throw line and do all that crazy goofy shit, but y'all finna get this work.
Prestigious franchises of NBA history. Magic played 13 seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers, and Bird played 13 seasons with the Boston Celtics. Magic with the Los Angeles Lakers, and Bird played 13 seasons with the Boston
Celtics. Gonna wait on you.
Magic was a 6'9" point guard who weighed around 215 pounds. Larry was a 6'9" small forward / power forward who weighed around 220 pounds. Two men who were each accredited with saving the NBA in the 1980s. Two men who each have an argument of being the greatest player of their era. We'll compare these two greats with 5 major categories, which sometimes vary in categories depending on positions and play styles. In this video, for these two icons of basketball, the categories are scoring, facilitating, rebounding, defense, and accolades.
Magic was
First
tough.
off, scoring.
Magic
Johnson was a much better scorer than people typically give him credit for, especially when you consider how he's one out of only 2 players to average over 2.
Yeah, I'm asleep on his scoring too. Like, when I just think of Larry scoring versus Magic scoring, I think it's Larry by a landslide. Maybe I'm bugging, but I think it's Larry by a landslide. Boy, Magic can't fill that thing up like it.
First off,
Magic can't fill that thing up like Larry.
Johnson was a much better scorer than people typically give him credit for, especially when you consider how he's one out of only 2 players to average over 10 assists per game for his career. Despite the fact that his #1 priority was usually to get his teammates going, he still managed to consistently get his, as he averaged 19.5 points per game over the course of his career.
How many assists he had?
He was a great finisher around the rim, and he managed to get himself more clean looks than most, since the defense always had to be on their heels because of his ability to find the open man. This led him to be extremely efficient throughout his career, as he shot 52% from the field over his 13 seasons, which is almost unheard of by point guard standards. He also was a tremendous free throw shooter, hitting 84.8% of his attempts over his career, and even led the league in overall free throw percentage in 1989. Now Bird, on the other hand, is immediately known for his scoring. He was also a 6'9" small forward.
I score this time, man. I get buckets.
With a high release point on his jumper, so contesting his shots was quite difficult. With his fantastic footwork, his underrated handles, his finesse around the basket, and lethal perimeter shooting, he averaged 24.3 points over the course of his career. He never led the league in scoring, but unlike
man, I almost turned around.
24
dropped that thing behind him, but I was
his career. He never led the league in scoring, but unlike Magic, he was right around the top of the list on several occasions. As far as perimeter scorers go, Bird has an argument for being the most efficient scorer in NBA history. He led the league in free throw percentage 4 times, and he also had 2 50-40-90 seasons in his career, which is the second most in NBA history.
Y'all know that that's 50% field goals, 40% 3, and 90% free throws. That's tough.
The only player with more 50-40-90 seasons was the Hall of Famer Steve Nash. but Nash was never close to being a near 30 points per game scorer like Larry was several seasons. So the fact that Bird was able to maintain that efficiency as a perimeter scorer and at such a
Larry just make you love the game. Boy, how he play, they just make you love the game, you feel me? Magic had you in. Like, damn, he flashes, he doing some crazy shit. But Larry make you, hey, that looks good, boy. That looks smooth, it look effortless. I'm finna go to the park and try that.
high volume of shots is pretty much unprecedented. Magic gets some bonus points for being a capable and efficient scorer even while being an all-time leader in assists. But even with that being said, it's still not enough to close unprecedented. Magic gets some bonus points for being a capable and
dunk his ass, Larry. Quit playing with him.
Leader in assists. But even with that being said,
boom,
it's still
boy,
not enough to close the gap between him and the all-around-the-court threat that is Larry Bird. Scoring goes to Larry Bird. Second up is facilitating. Now, I alluded to this in the previous topic, but Magic is arguably...
Magic gonna win facilitating, but Larry is not far off. Fuck what you talking about. His first priority was just a buck, but he was also a dime dropper. Oh, that bitch hot. Get it out of there, Larry. Oh, look, got me knocking.
And probably considered by most
as
the greatest passer of all time. He has the highest assists per game average in NBA history at 11.2, and he led the league in assists 4 times. It's easy to simply look at the numbers and say that Magic was the best passer on his team, but he was so much more than just that. Magic was the engine that drove the Showtime Lakers' high-octane offense. Magic was obsessed with pushing the tempo nearly every time the Lakers gained possession, and it resulted in many easy buckets for his
it definitely was
His ability
Showtime.
to make smart split-second decisions is unmatched, and his court vision would have you swearing that he has eyes in the back of his head with the passes he was consistently making. On top of all that, he was a 6'9" point guard, so interfering with some of his higher passes was nearly impossible for many of his smaller defenders. Now, Bird was a much better distributor than most people realize. He started his career as a power forward, and if he had remained in that position, then he would probably be known today as the greatest passing power forward of all time. He shared a similar ability to Magic in terms of their incredible court vision, and he's been praised by Magic on numerous occasions for that exact skill. He averaged 6.3 assists on his career, averaging as high as 7.6 in 1987. He was usually not among the assist leaders of the league, but he was consistently among the leaders at his position. The same way Magic got bonus points in the scoring category, Bird also gets bonus points in the facilitating category, as it was remarkable that Bird assisted his teammates as often as he did when you consider the fact that Bird chose to shoot the ball nearly 50% more often.
Bro, I didn't see probably all Larry Bird highlights every time I watched it. Oh, show spin, reverse spin, midi gang, bye-bye.
And then Magic jumped.
Quit playing with him.
Still, unless you're a gold medalist in mental gymnastics, facilitating clearly has to go to Magic, as his incredible ability to make his teammates better is simply one of them.
1-1, and I agree.
Third up is rebounding.
1-1, and I agree. Rebounding, Larry averages 11 rebounds a game. Boy, you better quit playing with him.
Now this one can be a little bit tricky since I'm making the case for different positions. One is typically more of a perimeter player, while the other plays more in the interior, and naturally, the advantage goes to the interior player where most rebounds are available, especially in an era like the 80s where less perimeter shots are taken. All things considered, Magic was a pretty good rebounder, especially by point guard standards. He successfully used his superior height and frame to his advantage over smaller guards, and he was often hungry to get the ball as quickly as possible.
Look at his face right there. Why he looking like that? He looking somebody out right now. Oh, he open, but he ain't gonna throw it to him. He over there looking at James Worthy coming up, but he, Will, I see you, and then Dimers.
So he could then push the fast break on offense. He averaged 7.2 rebounds over the course of his career, getting as high as 9.6 in 1982.
It's not bad.
Now, Larry Bird averaged 10 rebounds per game over his career, getting as high as 11 in 1983. One thing no one ever questioned about Bird back then was his hustle and heart. It was common for him to play the game with a physical and tenacious approach, and doing so continuously.
Bro, Larry had to set the tone. I wish I could do the score. I want to know everything behind him diving for this ball, knowing damn well we're going to get that hole. It had to be something. I got to pump my team up. I got to show him that I'm sacrificing my body for the team. I'm going to turn the boys up with hustle plays. He had to be something, bro. Because he know damn well. Look at that ball. Look at that ball and look where he at. Boy, you was not getting to that ball, dude.
And tenacious approach.
You was not getting to that ball. No.
And doing so continuously effort. These are qualities that naturally benefit a player's ability to secure the boards. This has resulted in Bird having the 50th highest rebounds per game average in NBA history. Most of the players on that list are either primarily power forwards or centers though, which Larry was not. He played mostly as a small forward. Among primary small forwards, Larry has the third greatest rebounds per game average in NBA history. When you consider the positions, this one is extremely close. But for me, the slight edge goes to Larry Bird.
2-1 Larry. I don't care what. You could holler all that position shit or not. You 6'9" regardless. Rebounding. Larry. 2-1 us.
Not just because of his higher numbers.
2-1 good guys.
But it's about how he played to get those numbers.
Give me that.
Bird was known for a more grit and grind type approach, which is a great
fuck out of here
when you're banging for the boards in the 80s. Fourth on the list is defense. Magic was never considered as an elite defender, as he didn't make any all-defense teams in his career, but he was certainly a capable one. His sheer size made it somewhat difficult for opposing guards to score over him or to get into a favorable position with physicality. Magic had a high top speed that he always used on offense, but his lateral movement wasn't the quickest on defense, which made it sometimes difficult for him to stay in front of the quicker, smaller guards. His hands were decently quick, and he was pretty good at jumping the passing lanes, which resulted in him leading the league in steals twice, including the 1981 season, where he averaged an incredibly...
I ain't even know that, but I can see that, though, because he was smart as hell getting to the passing lane. Larry Bird was the same way. They wasn't really no sit down in those chairs, sit down clamp, but they was going to get steals and blocks just because they was smarter than everybody.
Strong 3.4 steals per game. He also averaged 1.9 steals over the course of his career, although he didn't have a strong vertical leap and was never a good shot blocker, as he only averaged 0.4 blocks over his career and never averaged at least one per game in a season, which is pretty surprising considering his height and length advantage over almost every opposing guard. Larry was known to be slow, and he wasn't the most quick or athletically gifted player, but I do think he's somewhat of an underrated defender compared to how he's perceived by the general public. The Boston Celtics were a consistently elite defensive team, and Bird's high basketball IQ was a significant...
Steal, beat, save, dimes, run the floor, get back.
Bird made 3 all-defense teams and averaged 1.7 steals and 0.
Bird was the better defender. Bird was
0.8 blocks over his 13 seasons. Bird could be a bit of a pest on defense, as his effort and tenacious attitude was never lacking. Due to his slower and less athletic frame, it wasn't uncommon for him to need help defensively if he was guarding some of the athletic and talented wings in the league, like Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins, for example. With that being said, Bird was good at communicating with his teammates, trapping offensive players and forcing turnovers as a result. This one is somewhat close, but at the end of the day, Bird has the slightly better individual defensive numbers. He's the more accomplished defensive player, and he was the team leader of the consistently better defensive team throughout the decade. Defense goes
3-1 good guys. Fuck are you talking about?
Larry Bird. Last on the list of categories is accolades, and both of these legends had a ton of them. Magic Johnson won 5 NBA championships, 3 Finals MVPs, and he won 3 League MVPs. He made 12 All-Star teams and 10 All-NBA teams.
Damn!
He was a 4-time assist champion and a 2-time steals champion. In his 13 seasons, he averaged 19.5 points, 7.2 rebounds, 11.2 assists, 1.9 steals, and 0.4 blocks on 61 true shooting percentage. Larry Bird won 3 NBA championships, 2 Finals MVPs, and 3 League MVPs.
And y'all robbed him of a Finals MVP because he was too young, man. Young whippersnapper out there going crazy. Y'all robbed him. He should be 3 for 3. What are you talking about?
He made 12 All-Star teams, 10 All-NBA teams, and 3 All-Defense teams. He was also the 1980 Rookie of the Year and was a 2-time 50-40-90 player. In his 13 seasons, he averaged 24.3.
Drop the motherfucking stats. Who was fucking with Larry? Look at Larry's stats. Larry, landslide.
Points, 10
Larry,
rebounds,
landslide.
6.3 assists,
Or you could call it
1.7
unanimous
steals,
decision.
and 0.8 blocks on 56.4 true shooting percentage. Based on this list, I think Magic has the slight advantage on accolades. Now, as far as how these players compare as a whole, as usual, it's extremely close. And the only reason I'm picking between these two is because I have to for the sake of the series. But for myself personally, Larry Bird is the more complete player.
What is you
and
talking
ranks higher
about?
on
Boy,
my
you
all-time
smart.
list.
Boy, I don't know who made this video. Whoever did, boy, you're smart. You got knowledge, boy.
I think most of the
Unanimous
time,
decision.
people rank Magic slightly higher because of his edge in championships over Bird.
Look at his team, though. People fail to realize Magic Johnson had a crazy team, bro. The Lakers was crazy, OD good. So I don't want to hear. If you putting championships into the mix, I don't want to hear it.
But you have to.
That's like saying Bill Russell to go Robert Horton. Like, I don't want to hear it. Just because you got some rings don't mean that. You know what I mean? You was part of a good team. You was part of a great team. Good job. But head to head, you better than me?
You should also consider that basketball is a team sport, and although both legends were blessed with a tremendous supporting cast, also keep in mind that the East was definitely the stronger conference throughout
my
the
booty.
80s, which meant it was even more difficult for the Celtics.
Let me talk to you. Look how Larry's walking up on his ass. Look how Larry's walking up
Definitely
on
the stronger
walking up
conference
on Dr.
throughout
J.
the 80s, which meant it was even more difficult for the Celtics to get to the NBA Finals in the first place. Although I do think Bird is the slightly better and more complete individual player, I do think there is a strong argument for Magic. But I think that argument goes beyond the stat sheet and leans more into the narrative that no one has ever made their teammates better than Magic Johnson did, which is probably true, and if that's enough for him to be your choice, then I respect that. Let me know in the comments section who's higher on your list, Magic Johnson or Larry Bird. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball.
Larry! Stop acting like that, Larry. You the GOAT, boy. Don't let nobody tell you no different, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with your boy, man. Like, comment, hit the subscribe button. And down low in the comments, let me know if you agree or disagree with anything that happened in this video. Larry the Legend, though. Don't argue with that. Don't argue with that. Larry the Legend, man. Level.